On today's episode of Gathering the Kings.
I'm pushing as hard as I am because I want to build something that my dad could never have dreamed of building. I want to take this to the next level.
You are listening to Gathering the Kings with Chaz Wolfe, featuring fellow 7, 8, and even 9-figure business owners who have real battle scars from business and life, but have prevailed as the king that they are designed to be. We welcome high-performing entrepreneurs to the stage in order to reveal the real of the real on what it takes to build a successful business today. We dissect the good and bad decisions they've made along the way that give a true and accurate picture of the journey of success and how you too can get there. Through this dialogue, you will learn the value of growing your network and surrounding yourself with power players and kings like today's guest. Grab your pen and notebook because we're about to dive in. What's up, everybody? I'm Chaz Wolfe, Gathering the Kings podcast. Today, I've got Blake Carlisle here on the King stage. My brother, my bearded brother from another mother. How are you today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, dude. It's a beautiful Monday, and it's even more beautiful because we just got done talking about elk hunting. I love elk hunting. It was your first elk hunt. I'm so glad to graft you into the elk family.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad to be part of it, man.
Good, man. Well, obviously, we're here to chat about business, not necessarily elk hunting. Maybe we'll weave in some elk hunting tactics into our business story today. But tell us what kind of business, or in this case, businesses that you have.
Yeah. So my first main business, that's actually a family business. It's called Custom Hose Tech. Basically, what we do is we build hydraulic hoses for heavy machinery. So anything from like your lull telehandlers, your bobcats, excavators, that sort of deal. I have 2 storefronts, one in the Twin Cities in Minnesota and another in Rochester, Minnesota.
Okay.
In our storefronts, basically the people will take the hose off, bring it to us. We'll make it like for like and get them out the door. I also have 4 mobile trucks that operate in the Twin Cities that will go out onto the job site and actually wrench the hose off the machine, build it on their truck, and then go and reinstall it for the customer just to alleviate some of the downtime for them.
Yeah, that's incredible. And really, we'll jump into this, I'm sure, a little bit more, but the tech behind this is what's unique, right? Like, this is something that you guys have developed. This is not just hey, we're just going to order this from someone and replace it for you. This is something that you've developed. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So when somebody brings the hose in, basically there's hundreds of different configurations that can be on the hose. So what we do is we identify what is on the ends of the hoses. And then that tells us the pressure of the hose, what the fittings are, so that we can build the hose. So I don't have pre-made hose assemblies just sitting on my shelf like some places do.
Right.
I make exactly what you need in 5-10 minutes. And then, yeah, so basically we make the hose 5-10 minutes. You're out the door.
What's the value of having a custom hose like this?
So the main value that we're adding for people is really the downtime on the machine. A lot of times when they have a machine go down, they're losing thousands of dollars an hour with that machine down.
Yeah.
They can't miss those deadlines that they have with their contracts.
Yeah.
So my ETA for my trucks is 1 hour. So we'll be on site in an hour. And usually a job takes about an hour, depending on how tough the hose is. I mean, some can take long, but usually that hour, 2 hours is a pretty good time frame to get the job complete.
I'm going to switch gears on you here. My first question is always the same. And I think it's going to be unique to hear your question or your answer on this, because obviously, like you said, it's a family business. I know you said your dad originally started the main business, but you and your brother are doing this together, right? So at this level, my question to you, and maybe you answer on behalf of your family, maybe, but it's why? Why are you still pushing? Obviously, you've grown a big business as a family. Why are you now, as a second generation owner, pushing as hard as you are?
That I'm pushing as hard as I am because I want to build something that my dad could never have dreamed of building. I mean, I want to take this to the next level. I want custom hose techs to be all over the country. Right now, there's one main competitor that's actually a franchise model that is all over the country. They have 100 and something locations. I won't say their name.
No need to give them any credit.
Yeah, but I want to take them on. I want to become I want to become better than them. I want to build this brand to something that we never even thought we could have when we first started in 1998.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have my brother to help me. I mean, my parents are pretty much retired, but
Sure.
they're there for some of the questions that we do have, since me and my brother have only been in charge for like 5, 6 years now.
Yeah.
So I think there's a good support system there to kind of take it to new heights.
What do you think? This is just such an interesting, generational pull. I'm super motivated legacy wise. I think about my children and grandchildren doing something that I can't even imagine. So even the language that you just used there, it's not so much of I'm not picking up that it's a spite towards your dad of like, oh, I'm gonna show him. It's more of a, he took it this far. Now let me see how far I can take it, which is the same language that I dream about with my kids. And I mean, I don't have any grandkids, but one
Yeah.
day, right? So my question to you is, how did that get instilled to you? Why do you think that way? Is there anything else tied to that? Is it for your family as well? Is it monetary? Like, what all goes into that for you? How did you come to that conclusion?
So I think first, I do need to give some credit to my dad when he started the company.
Yeah.
What he did and what he built is pretty unheard of in today's day and age. There's a lot of big powerhouses in the industry, from the people that do exactly what we do and the manufacturers. He overcame a lot to get to where he got us. So I think that I definitely need to give him the credit that's due
Sure.
there.
Yeah.
But going off of that, I think the main thing growing up, I was a wrestler. So a lot of hard every single day through my entire life, just training to be the best wrestler that I could be, getting that work ethic. I think that's the most important thing that you can learn from sports growing up, is that tough work ethic to just break through any barrier that might be in your way, that resiliency.
Yeah.
And then it's just, I'm not satisfied with where we are. I
Mm.
think if you are satisfied, somebody else in the same industry as you is not satisfied and they're getting better every single day. So
100%.
I need to make sure that I'm doing everything that I can do
Yeah.
every day to make sure that those people behind me don't catch up with me. So,
What burn, like, what's the fuel? That's what we get as the heat, right? What you just described is the heat. What are you putting in that burns the fuel like that? Was that your dad speaking into you as a kid? Was that just because you have this innate just desire to go conquer? Like, what is that?
yeah, I think the fuel for it is, a lot of it is watching my dad and what he went through building the company when I
Yeah.
was young. I mean, so he started with an old Lay's potato chip truck that he stocked with all these fittings and hose.
Yeah.
And he would bring me in the van, babysitting me through these
Right.
job sites. And I would sit in the back of the van while he's making these hoses and wrenching on machines.
Yeah.
So I think watching him do that and watching him build it,
Right.
I mean, I don't wanna let him down. I don't wanna
Yeah.
let my brother down, my mom down. And then I want to be able to give to I don't have children yet, but I want to be able to give to my children what my parents gave to me, which was great childhood,
Yeah.
never really anything to worry about. Yeah, I want to leave that behind for my kids. My nephew Cash is my brother's son, who
Yeah.
just turned a year old. Yeah, I want to give the people in my family the opportunities that I was afforded with my parents' hard work.
100%. I love that, man. Sorry to press on you so hard. I just love this
Yeah.
stuff. And I, dude, the next generation, like, I'm literally obsessing over building my children. And I see you, fast forwarded, my own children fast forwarded, and they're they're the second generation. And it's like, okay, what do I need? What are the ingredients to build this? My
Yeah.
son, my daughters. And so, selfishly, those questions were from me to try to be a good dad over here, but I'm sure plenty of the listeners have got plenty of value from that as well. Let's go into your story. Obviously, we know how the business started. Your dad, kind of threw all this thing together, but I want to know, how did you get involved? Did you try anything else beforehand? Kind of what was your entry to entrepreneurship?
I mean, there were certain times that I thought of maybe going a different direction from the family business.
Sure.
But I mean, I've worked here since I was 14 years old. It's really what I'm the best at, is hydraulic hoses and fittings.
Right.
So I think with my drive and my determination and starting with such a great foundation that was already built, I really felt like I could take this to the next level. And I mean, that's kind of, I guess I never really thought or felt that I needed to go any different direction. I thought I could
Yes.
really build something great here.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So 14 years old, you're working on the back of the, you can't drive it. You can't drive the van.
It's not- no.
Tell us how was that like a, hey son, do you want to start working for me? Did you just say, hey dad, I want to make money? Like how did it all start?
Well, so our shop here in Bloomington, we actually have a wrestling room, full wrestling room in the back. So really it started with when I was doing the private trainings with
Right.
college wrestlers. They'd come here and they'd train me. And I mean, you can only do that for 2 hours a day. And
Right.
then we're here for 10. And then
Uh-huh.
my dad's kind of like, well, you wanna learn how to make a hose? And sure. And so it kind of started with the wrestling aspect, and then it just grew into making some extra money when I was done practicing, and then really learning the family business.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Well, let's get into some tacticals here. I want to talk good and bad decision. What is something that in the last 5, 6 years, as you said, you and your brother have been running the business. What's a good decision that you guys have made that's really catapulted the business?
Biggest thing that we have done since I've been here is marketing. Before, when my dad was here, they did no marketing. Everything that everybody heard about us was just word of mouth, which is
Yeah.
great. I mean, it's
Yeah.
great having your customers out there telling people that you do a good job.
Right.
But then once we start doing the SEO, we start doing the Facebook ads, we kind of unlocked a whole new group of people that had never even heard of us before.
Yeah.
So yeah, implementing the marketing was definitely a game changer for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously every business listening today, six-figure level, in order to get to the seven-figure mark, you have to market yourself in front of more people, get more leads, right? Then you got to sell them, then you got to service them, and you got to keep good track of your finances. Those are the 4 areas of business that you just have to get really good at and hit the repeat button. So
Yep,
for you, that was the beginning. Boom. More people in the pipeline. You
exactly.
mentioned a few SEO, Facebook ads. Like, was it just like, hey, let's just throw some money at it and it worked? Was there like a we had to figure out what our message is? Like, give us a little bit of the meat behind how did you figure out? How did you even want to know to do marketing?
So I actually went to college, North Dakota State, and my degree is in marketing.
There you go.
So I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted to do. Um, the implementation was kind of the harder part because I mean, college teaches you how to work for a company, in my
Right.
opinion.
Right.
Doesn't teach you how to run it. So we've teamed up with some people that I'm pretty close with. Me and Tanner are close with, and they kind of helped us along the way in the beginning.
Yeah.
And now it is, once we learned how the key metrics like the click-through rate, the
Right.
conversion rate, so converting to directions to our store, phone calls to one of our stores. Once we learned that, we really learned what works, and we've just stuck with it since, and it's been helping us out a lot.
Yeah, how long did it take you to figure out what works, as you say? Because there's a lot of businesses out there that kind of just fumble around, they try a bunch of stuff, or maybe they don't try something long enough to really see the value. They're just kind of bouncing around from, shiny object to shiny object. What would you say your experience is, and what would you say to that person?
I think the way that we figured out best practices for our marketing is we looked at the phone calls a lot because, yeah, you can get in front of a lot of people, but what you want is you want your ad or your Facebook ad, SEO ad, you want it to convert to something.
Yeah.
So we've found that, especially with like the Facebook, we just tried some things, changed it up in the beginning, and yeah, some of the times it didn't work as well. So then we just kind of went back and revisited it and went more towards the direction of where we were getting the phone calls.
Right.
With the SEO, pretty much what we just did is took a lot of keywords from our website that we know people will be searching a lot, really hammered those.
Yeah.
So now when you're in our area, if you search any of those keywords that we have, we're the first ones that pop up. And that's pretty easy stuff there.
Yeah, exactly. Good stuff, man. Hey, kings and queens, Chaz Wolfe. I want to talk to you about something that's super important to me. We put a lot of time and effort, we meaning myself and my team, into this podcast, into the content that goes out every single day. And if you have been getting any sort of value or insight from this, we want it to be able to reach other business owners too. So we would love if you would like, comment, share, leave a review, post, share again, all of the things on social media, on all the different platforms, or even on the podcast mediums of Apple and Spotify. We would love to be able to get our content into more hands, more entrepreneurs, so they can grow their business as quick as possible. Together, we are building a community of like-minded entrepreneurs who are committed to growing their businesses to new heights. So let's do this. Let's help each other. Let's help each other grow. And let's flip the coin. Let's talk about a bad decision, something that's, maybe hasn't gone so well that maybe had to change directions on.
Yeah. So right when we first started out and took over the company, one thing that we were brand new entrepreneurs. So naturally we're going to make mistakes. And one thing is when we were getting price increases from our vendor, we were eating some of those costs. And then we get to a certain point down the road and it's like our receivables aren't very good. We don't have a ton of money to pay our employees, to
the old cash flow issue.
Yeah, the cash flows. So then we really sat down and looked at what the issue was, and we just weren't charging enough. I think that it's a novel idea to incur some of the costs so that your customers don't have to.
Sure.
But in the long run, you need to do what's best. Your customers are going to understand. I mean, if you're doing a good job, they're going to want you there. So you need to do what is best for your company. And if we just looking back now, it was foolish, but it was something that we really learned. We learned our lesson on, and from here forward, we know what we got to do.
I think that, the underlying story there is obviously if you don't take care of the business, there will be no business.
Exactly.
Which then long term hurts your clients. They got to find somebody else and they got to change the way they do business. And so, you got to, keep up with the times with pricing. When you said you sat down, because the four things that I mentioned that we talk about a lot with six-figure business owners, marketing, sales, fulfillment, and finance, you're obviously talking about the finance piece. And it's like, okay, where's the money coming from? How are we collecting it? Where's it going? What are we spending money on? What's our bottom line? Are we making money? Right? Okay. What was that conversation? Was it you and your brother? Was it your brother's CPA? Was it other people around you? How did you ding, we're not charging enough?
Yeah. So what happened in that is my mom handles more of like the accounting side of everything, the back office, the front office stuff. And we had just noticed that with things that we wanted to buy, she was telling us that we need to hold off, that we need to do this, do that. So we were getting mad. So like, well, we need this stuff if we're gonna continue to do what we're doing.
Right.
And so this is like probably a year into when we took over.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, we need to figure this out. So we went and sat and looked at the P&L, profit and loss statement. And after doing some digging, we saw that our cost of goods was way up and the margin that we were making on everything was way down. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of that was what was causing our issue. And ever since then, we sit down and go over the P&L monthly with them and just make sure that everything's in good standing and make sure nothing crazy is happening.
Yep. Let me summarize that because you just made just such a profound statement. And I don't know if you even realize it. Most businesses don't do this. Most businesses, number one, you have to have the P&L. Like, if you're listening right now and you do not have a CPA or someone in the back office producing the P&L for you, stop everything. Stop the podcast right now. Go hire a CPA, a couple $100 a month, and they'll produce a monthly P&L for you. And what that does for you is it allows from a high level, because that first year, what you described is that you were disconnected from the money. You were out there doing the work, out there grinding, making changes in marketing. fulfilling a good experience for your clients. You had no idea what was happening on the finances. And so what you've just now described is not only you got in tune with the finances, but now how do you stay in tune, which is at least a monthly review of the P&L and making sure there's always going to be on the P&L, there's always going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 things that it's like, boom, like as long as I get the P&L, I can go ding, 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 ding. And as long as those numbers are in place, generally speaking, we should be good. Obviously, if we're trying to grow, if we're trying to do other, caveated things, fine. But generally speaking, there's like 3, 4, 5 things that I'm going to check on there. As long as those are in line, we should be good. Would you agree with that? Would you add anything to that for somebody who maybe hasn't or isn't doing this?
Yeah, I agree with basically everything you just said. Maybe something that I would add with looking at your P&L is, especially for us, every single day, I'm logging into my QuickBooks and I'm looking at our sales revenue daily just to make sure that everything's looking good. If there's a day that's down, I need to figure out why. So I think those two things go together really well. Like you said, there's certain bullet points that are on that P&L that you definitely want to be in tune with. Your cost of goods sold, some of the percentages on there. But yeah.
Exactly. I'll even add one additional thought to your keeping track of the sales. First thing I do every single morning is I pop my eyeballs open. Well, I do like a 30-second gratitude little, thanks for, just being alive. But then I pop open all my bank accounts, just one after the other. And I think the principle that we're describing is really just being in tune, knowing the flow in and the flow out. And if you don't know, then you just don't know. You can't manage it. You can't be excellent at it. You have to know. So I think we've efficiently beat this horse completely all the way dead. So let's move on. I want to know, is there a process to making decisions? Like right now, you're 5, 6 years in, you're running a good business. Decision comes across your desk. What's the process or maybe a steps or mindset that you take when it comes to these types of decisions now?
So I think it kind of depends on the decision. Like if one of my mobile techs makes a mistake on a job, like we just had this the other week where one of our best customers were doing a hose on a Bobcat and one of my technicians didn't have a backing wrench on and spun one of their steel tubes and smashed it. So they came to me and told me about what happened. And I've heard in the industry, a lot of people that do what we do will just tell them, no, we didn't do it. That's not our problem.
Sure.
When something like that happens, I mean, you got to stand behind your work. You got to stand behind your guys. Yeah. And so my process there is I just got to do what's right. It might hurt for a minute, but what I'm going to make from that customer in the long term is a lot more than what I'm losing now.
Sure.
Then with other things like more business ideas, it's just sitting down, talking with my parents, with my brother, through the positives, through the negatives, and just kind of getting a game plan together with them to make the best decision for all of us.
Yeah, love that. I hear a lot of logic in both of those answers. We get tied up in emotions, the emotion of your guy saying, this is how it happened, this is how it didn't happen, or the customer getting frustrated and us being emotional about their emotional response. And a lot of opportunities, especially in a family scenario where you guys could be, at each other's necks a little bit, but logic, removing the emotion for business decisions is probably one of the greatest assets that you can have, just because if you can just look at it black and white on paper, no emotion involved, then you can make a decision one way or the other, because that's what business is.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a lot of emotion that go into it. We feel those every single day, but as far as the decisions go, that's what I'm hearing you say is logic. I want to switch over to our speed round. I'm going to come at you in a little different angle. The first question is this: if you can take your business and dwindle it down to one trackable metric, you can only pick one, what would it be?
Profit margin.
Okay, and why?
Because I need to be making money on the product that I have, or else there's no business.
Right. For you specifically, you said margin. Is there a reason it wasn't just profit to be at all, like just any profit? Is there a specific margin? You don't have to say necessarily the margin number, but is there a threshold is what I'm asking.
Yeah. So the reason that we look so closely at the profit margin is because with our mobile fleet, there's a lot of different variables that can affect how much money we're making per job. Like right now, gas prices are through the roof insane. So I need to be constantly looking at the margin that I'm getting to make sure that I'm charging enough for the jobs that I'm going and doing.
Sure. 100%. Love it. Okay. Next question is, what book would you recommend for a six-figure business owner?
Yeah, I was excited about this one. I'm an avid reader.
Love it.
I got a few of them.
Okay.
The most recent one is Ed Milet, The Power of One More.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good one. Just to it kind of instills that idea into you where if you can do one more thing every day, that's going to help you get to that next level. I mean, if you're in a sales role, make that one more call. That
Right.
one more call may get you to that commission that you really need. Next one is Tim Grover, both of his books, Winning and Relentless.
Yeah.
Those are kind of more mindset books, but with business, mindset's the most important thing. Your mind, your body. So those are two really good books. Brad Lee, who I actually work with my university, the
Okay.
Custom University.
With Lightspeed?
Yep, with Lightspeed.
Cool.
So his The Hard Way, basically just a book about a bunch of lessons that he's learned as he's grown Lightspeed BT.
Yeah.
And then kind of get into the elk hunting is Cam Haynes Endure.
Yeah.
You read that book, you're going to want to run through a wall when you're done with it.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll put all those in the show notes. Cam is a beast. Like, I think if you look up the definition of beast, there's his picture. But the other ones that you've mentioned are phenomenal. Huge fan of all those guys. The one more mentality that you were just talking about, I was just, as you were talking, I was going back in my memory of being a sales rep years ago. And I can't tell you how many deals I got on that last phone call. Just thinking,
Exactly.
let me hit it one more time, you know? And I'll tell you what, man, a lot of times it's just how it works. That builds your faith, your confidence, those emotions, those positive emotions that we were just negating in business decisions, but it doesn't mean you negate emotions. That you're actually looking for the emotion in that one more, you know? Love that. What do you think about intentionally networking or masterminding with other entrepreneurs?
Well, you have to do it. I mean, if you want to grow and get better, you need those people in your corner that you can ask questions to, you can bounce ideas off, because people want to help. So you definitely need those people around you to get better. Like the saying goes, you're a reflection of the 5 people closest to you. Networking and getting close with other business owners or other people that are successful is what is going to help you get to that next level.
Yeah, 100%. Do you have a moment in time or a story that you can tell about that being impactful for you specifically? I just think that the six-figure owner, I hit this every single show, but the six-figure owner knows that they're supposed to meet other people, supposed to be building relationships, supposed to be putting key people around them. It's just so difficult because they're busy doing the thing every day. You know, they haven't really gotten past the working in and started working on the business, which is really the more important side, but it's just tough to get there. What would you say that maybe you've benefited from this that would encourage them to start doing this?
Yeah, I think a big reason that you're struggling to get to that 7-figure is because you're focusing so much, which is important, on the business itself. But when you're at that level, you are the business. So you need to network and do these things with people that will help you get to that next level. Like I'm part of the Arte Syndicate.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 1 hour Zoom calls like 3 times a month.
Right.
And I've gotten so much value out of all those things that you can't make an hour to get better.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. The way you just said it, right? Like you're going to choose to not spend the time on getting better, really is what you're
Exactly.
saying.
Yeah. Because what else are you doing? I mean, you're going to the gym. I mean, going and spending time with your kids is important and everything, but the RSA ideal is 1 hour a week. Like if you can't make time for that, I mean, there's 24 hours in a day.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's greater or lesser desire. You either want to get better or you don't.
Yeah.
We find ways to stay busy one way or the other, right? All right, last question here for you.
All right.
This is going to be interesting because you're a young guy already. So it's like, you know, you can't go back too far, but if you could whisper in the younger Blake's ear, what would you tell him?
That is a good question. I think so. Right when I got out of college, I was in a weird point in my life and I was drinking heavily, really heavily every single day.
Wow.
Not doing the things that I knew I needed to do, not being the person that I should be, made lots of poor decisions. I think that I would go back and tell myself, just stay away from that. I mean,
Yeah.
the people that you're around, they don't like you for you. They like you for the person that you are when you're drinking. So I think I got a later start on the being great thing than I should have.
Yeah.
So I think I would tell myself, just go back and stay away from that. Make good decisions. Put everything that you're putting into drinking and partying and being with friends, put it into your work life. Put it into your personal development. So once I did do that and I stopped drinking and stopped partying and got away from those people, crazy things started happening. I met my wife that now we've been married for going on 2 years, better friends. I feel better. I'm healthier. I'm doing the things that I love to do again, like elk hunting, deer hunting. So yeah, I would
Running a successful business.
running a successful business, growing the business. I opened the new business, the Custom Hose University, which we didn't touch on a whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I got some more things in the works. I can't talk about them because there's a confidentiality agreement, but there's exciting things coming, and I never would have got there if I wouldn't have made those decisions to be better.
I love that. You're so right. Good decisions are the key, really, and whispering to yourself to make those sooner. I think we'd all agree with that. Blake, you just mentioned briefly that obviously one of the secondary businesses is that you teach people how to do this, how to do the fittings and stuff. And so I want you to, take 30 seconds, a minute on that. Then I'm going to ask you how people can find you. How can they, if they're potentially needing that service, how they can get set up with that.
Yeah. So Custom Hose University started because I have people come into my shop all the time that have gone to other hose shops, and the hose shop has told them that they're looking for something, and they're looking for something that's completely different. And if you're making hoses, that is completely irresponsible to not know what you're selling, not know what your customer needs. So that's where we came up with the Custom Hose University. Basically, the course teaches you to identify the hose that is between the fittings and the fittings that are on the hose. It's 5 hours of finished content, going through our proprietary method that we've used since 1998, that we have the whole system trademarked and everything. So it's ours. We're the only
That's
ones
legit.
that use it. And so it goes through that, and it will help mechanics, people at hose shops, other technicians that work for other companies that do the same thing as us. It gives them the resources to do their job better.
Yeah. Love that. Okay. How can the listener connect with you? Maybe they need to get some training around hose fittings, or maybe they just want to connect with you as an entrepreneur and get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. Just search Blake Carlisle. You'll see my picture pop up. Instagram, Blake R. Carlisle. And then you can find my main company on Facebook, LinkedIn, basically anything. Or you can go to www.customhose.net. And then if you want to check out the university, it's www.customhoseuniversity.com.
Perfect. We'll put all that in the show notes as well, so that way people can easily connect and find you and your businesses. But dude, you've been amazing today. Thank you for sharing. Even just you're just a humble approach of just 5 years. Dude, you've done an amazing job. You've grown an existing business. Some of those things just don't happen unless certain decisions and skill sets and desire are in place. And so you've definitely shown us that here today. Thank you for being here. Blessings to your family, your business, your future children, your wife, all that fun stuff. Hopefully next year on your elk hunt, you can harvest one.
Bag one.
Thanks for being here.
Appreciate you having me on.
Thank you for listening to Gathering the Kings today. I hope that you were able to pull out a few nuggets to go apply into your business right away. More importantly, though, I hope that you're realizing that it takes more to be successful than just being by yourself, doing it all on your own, carrying the weight all by yourself. What I have realized, not only in my own journey from multiple businesses and multiple different industries, and now interviewing over 200 or 300 other very successful 7, 8, and 9-figure business owners, is that it's tough to do it alone. And so Gathering the Kings exists to bring together successful entrepreneurs. In fact, we are putting together 1,000 kings, specifically who are grateful but not done. We're intentionally assembling kings who fight tooth and nail for their business, family, and communities. And here's what we believe: that in the pursuit of excellence in those areas, that it ignites within us the responsibility to govern power and forge a lasting legacy. So if that relates and resonates with you, and you know that you need people around you, sharp, qualified, other very successful business owners, I want you to go to gatheringthekings.com. I want you to take a look at what we're doing and see if it makes sense for you to be part of our pursuit to 1,000 kings. Talk soon.